from Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for another episode of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow, where all things related to your safety and security are discussed, detailed, and delivered to you. You may leave with a tip that saves you money or a tactic that saves your life. So here are your hosts, owner and founder of Defend Systems, Brink Fiddler, and owner and operator of Herring Technology, Tom Herring.
Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. With you as always, Brink and Tom. Today, we brought back a familiar face in Bobby Young, owner and founder of Covert Results. And alongside him, we thought it'd be a good idea for him to bring Olivia Wilson, who is the operations manager for the investigative side of the house, because I wanted to talk to both of them about the private investigative world and some of the things they do. The amount of things that happen in the private investigative world are pretty interesting that most people don't think about. So today's episode is really more about giving people an education as far as like what you guys can be used for and useful for in all sorts of cases and technologies and evidence gathering and all sorts of stuff that you guys do. So Bobby, welcome back. Olivia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.
Bobby looks like Tom Selleck, Magnum P.I.
He came in his Ferrari today too.
That's right.
I saw him like throwing a little gravel up in the parking lot.
Toyota Corolla.
missing a hubcap.
Close to a Ferrari.
Got to match Nashville cars.
That's right.
Drive like a dumbass too.
But
Bleep.
Yeah. I mean, we're 2 minutes in. This has already gone downhill.
Delete.
Yeah. No, so we talked in a different episode, Bobby, about when Covert started. It was, I mean, obviously the name has everything to do with investigative work, right? And the results being a big part of that. But obviously you got a lot of investigative experience from your time at Metro Nashville. And I guess what people don't know, and nobody really knows about Olivia, and I'll let her kind of tell us in a minute, but she's got a lot of investigative background as well. So Olivia, talk to us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here.
Well, it's a very long story, so we'll keep it really, really short. Reader's Digest version here. I started Metro way back in the day, without telling our age, Brink, but we started the academy together.
Oh,
yeah.
Did we?
Yes, we
I'm going to guess, is it 1998?
You nailed it.
Yep.
Good job, Bobby.
That's when we need a sound effect. Anyways, so started way back in the day and, went through the rigmarole and became a vice detective, actually same time as Brink. Yeah, so we worked vice together. Mm-hmm. And went ahead and did all the promotional testing, same time as Brink, and we basically got promoted at the same time to sergeant. So we've known each other for a long time, I would say.
I didn't realize you were stalking my career path so bad.
Apparently, maybe you were stalking mine, not sure.
That's true.
Not sure.
But a lot of the time you spent as an investigator,
yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
And you spent some of it as a supervisor as well. So
correct.
A little bit of both. And then your life took you all over the country doing various other things for years. And then, I don't know, year and something ago, moving back here, right? And got connected with Bobby, and I guess the rest is history. You started off just as an investigator, and I think you did some security work too.
Yes.
But mainly on the investigative side of the house.
Yes.
And then Bobby's a pretty sharp fella, and then he's been able to recognize talent and let people use their talent where they're best at it. So you eventually became the operations manager on the investigative side of the house.
Correct.
Okay. So I guess that means you oversee kind of that side of the house, but you also do investigative work yourself?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I know from talking to both of you that you guys do some various things in the investigative world, but a lot of things like what we used to do. I mean, to be honest with you, like just investigative work and case files and surveillance and all these things. But what type of cases, like, or I guess, is there a most common type of case? Or, I mean, because you guys do criminal work, you do civil work, you do, so like, is it all across the board, or like what is most of the investigative work that comes in?
Yeah, so I mean,
that was a really loud grunt before that answer. Like, just take a deep breath, Bobby.
Let it all out.
Well, I mean, it's funny when you talk to people, or especially people you don't know, or went to the Inc. 5000 conference and you get paired with people playing golf, and everybody asks the same thing all the time. Tell us the craziest PI story you got. Mm-hmm. And I say, you probably need a few hours.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a few. It's really hard to narrow it down. So,
well, bookmark that in your head. We'll circle back to that and ask for your top 3 here in a little while. How about that?
That'll work.
Okay.
So the breakdown on the PI side, probably about 30 to 40% is something that I would call due diligence investigation. I didn't know this was even a thing when I was a police officer until a defense attorney approached me when I started the company and said, "Hey, will you work a robbery case?" I said, "Huh? Robbery case?" He's like, "Yeah, the state has funds set aside so that these people get a fair shake at what they're being charged with." So essentially that's what it is. It's indigent defense work, and we're there to essentially make certain that somebody did something they've been charged with, where later on, if they're found guilty, they may try to appeal it 100 times, and they don't get that chance because we've looked into it and we have some really good, badass investigators, and we make certain that people are charged with what the government says they are. So, and generally they are. I mean, we have had cases that, I mean, I don't know if it'd be top 3, but there was an individual who spent 12 years in prison. Ironically, he has red hair like me, but spent 12 years in prison and actually didn't do it. Charged with murder. He got exonerated by the governor about 2 years ago, I think. So, I mean, those cases feel good as well. And beyond that, and a lot are complex. I mean, every single PI case, it doesn't matter. Like, it's totally different from security, because security, a lot of mundane things going on. With PI,
never the same.
Never the same. So, I mean, the other 60-ish percent of the PI side of Covert Results is that mostly civil cases, domestic, background checks, intel gathering, asset searches, divorce cases, surveillance.
And ultimately, the cheaters.
The cheaters.
The fun one. The cheaters. There you go.
That's Olivia's favorite part.
Yes.
Well, knowing what I know about her, I think anything involving a challenge and surveillance and, I mean, that's just how you're wired.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
it's my superpower, surveillance.
I would probably agree with that. Yeah, and that's another thing people tend to don't understand. I would guess it's the same with people that hire you guys. So I think a lot of people think it's like the movies, right? You can just have 1 or 2 people and go out and follow somebody in a car all day, and they'll never see you, and you can just follow them around all day and take pictures and all this other stuff, and nobody will ever know you're there. And the reality is far, far from that, right?
Absolutely. There are people, the way they drive, traffic. Just traffic in the Ferrari. I mean, because that does not stand out at all.
You just roll in and get it.
Everybody.
I'll say, if there's anybody else in the PI field, because there's a lot of people interested. I mean, y'all are going to get 4 million views off this for sure. But if there are people listening in the PI field or other PI business company owners, I mean, this for sure, let's change the industry. You cannot successfully do mobile surveillance with one person.
No, you cannot.
Let's change the industry right now.
I would argue that even 2 is typically not enough to do it well and do it correctly. I mean, my person, and you and I have done a crap ton of surveillance. Now, granted, the people we were following oftentimes are doing counter surveillance, and they're looking for tails, and they're doing heat runs, and they're doing all these things. So I guess some of the people y'all follow probably do that, and some of them probably don't, I would guess. But even somebody that's not even looking, just based on traffic and all the other contingencies that can happen, I would say a minimum of 3 and probably 4 is ideal. Would you agree?
That's a perfect world.
We followed people with millions of dollars of cash. We followed people with kilos of coke and heroin. and marijuana and all those other things. And I was shocked on the private side. These people drive like maniacs. And I've lost more people. I mean, on the just divorce.
Four-way stops.
Cheater. Yeah,
Four-way stops get you every time.
So I think the people with the drugs and the money and all that, checking for a tail, but they're probably not driving like maniacs, so they didn't get pulled over. And these people on the private side and civil stuff cases, they don't care. So it's very difficult to keep up.
Well, I know your cases vary vastly. I mean, there's one in particular I know you guys were proud of that I thought was interesting. The press had it that, I think it was Franklin PD was the ones that came in and kind of, but I mean, for those that are not watching online and are just listening, Bobby just did a Vanna White with his hands over to Olivia, showing her as, I guess, the savior of that day, if you will. But I thought it was an interesting case, and I love the result. So talk about that. Sorry, getting over a cold here. Olivia, tell me a little bit about that case.
That case was an interesting, fun case. It was technically just kind of a surveillance to serve a lawsuit, and a little bit of intel on it was given from an attorney who from a well-known firm in downtown, and it was great. It was basically George Jones's widow, who had basically gotten swindled out of millions and millions and millions of cryptocurrency. And broke up with this guy who took advantage of her pretty much right after George passed away, and got into her home and just was considered a paramour. And we were here to serve the lawsuit, and she's going to sue him. They'd already recovered about $15 million, but there was still like $15 million that was still sitting out there. Needless to say, find the guy, following him, try to serve him. He about runs me over with the car. Diana.
Well, hold on. Most of the audience isn't going to know what it means. You tried to serve him. I mean, that means something very different from our past, right? But I mean,
yes.
But the general
true.
public.
That's true. That's a good deal.
That's tuning in my head.
But the general public doesn't understand what's involved in a lawsuit service, or like. So, can you expand on that a little bit?
That is physically handing paperwork to an individual, and just everybody expects you to say you've been served. You don't have to, but we do it. We audio record it. We video record it. That way it's going to stand up in court as a legal process serving.
Got it.
So here we are with meta glasses on and, video cameras rolling and all these things, and go to serve the guy. And he literally tries to run me over. So we follow him at this point in time, and he's super paranoid.
Did he say anything?
No, he just looked at me and drove away. And I was like, oh.
People think they can get away from that. I mean, technically, that is a legal service. They're avoiding it. It's actually a crime. I mean, I've been served at my own house because a couple of employees don't pay their bills. I don't avoid it. I'm not running from it.
It's not going to go away.
Call the police bar and say, come back. I'm not home. I saw you on the video camera. Like, just take your paperwork and, man up. Pull your pants up and take it and go on. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Well, so looking for this guy, we kept, pulling intel. We were doing geo-tracking, trying to find him. Little information came in through some emails and just all luck, a lot of luck pieces, because it was just meant for this guy to, be served with his paperwork. Got in touch with Franklin PD. They ended up taking a report and took warrants out on the guy, which we had the intel. We knew where he was going to be. So that's what we did. We said, hey, we'll work with you guys and we'll help you get this warrant served. And all we request is that you just let me serve these papers. So ended up actually working multi-agencies. It went through the airport. He was actually catching a flight out of the country. And we got him going to the airport. We sat in the garage, waited for the rental car to be returned. We followed him on foot in the airport, where we met with the airport investigators. They then started following him. We recorded the whole thing, him going through security, and then that's when they actually served the warrant on him after he got through security. That way they could actually make sure they got the crypto wallets if he had them on his person. Couldn't destroy any evidence. And they walked him out, and I got to walk up and serve him with that lawsuit.
Had his hands behind his back. She said, "You're served."
Did you slap him upside the head with them? Or?
You know she wanted to. You know this girl. You know she wanted
He
to.
tried to not take them.
Yeah, he tried to not take the papers, so I shoved him down his shirt.
While he's in handcuffs.
Yeah,
That's epic.
said a couple of choice words and said, "Have a good day."
Well, let's back up. I mean, so Franklin PD got involved because you guys contacted him. They took out criminal warrants on him to actually arrest him because you guys got him involved, right? But at the end of the day, you guys were hired by an attorney to serve a lawsuit.
Yep.
And it turned into that. And, you know, in the other interview we did with you talking about the security side of the house, what makes you different? Well, this is a great example. I mean, there's, I'm sure, a lot more, but this is a great example of what makes you guys different on the investigative side of the house, too, is you have really good investigators. You know, y'all actually remind me of each other, to be honest with you, from an investigative standpoint. Yeah, it's your hair, Bobby.
Long, flowing hair.
It's definitely your hair.
Trying to grow it out.
Among other things.
The Rapunzel look is very fitting on you too, Bobby. But in that, now she never worked for me, but I worked with her. But like, y'all are both wired the same. As you tell either one of you can't do something, okay, and get out of the way, because that's like, oh, really? I can't. Mm-hmm. And it's you guys both love a challenge, right? And so to you, I'm sure that was like, I mean,
It was immensely gratifying.
I imagine when the guy almost ran you over, it was probably about as on as it's going to get.
I'd like to have been there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
No, never. I don't think she would ever curse.
Well, she doesn't know this, but I mean, I enjoyed her bringing me on in the last second because I was there at the airport and saw and helped everything that went down, and I thought it was awesome. I mean, you heard of people working together. This actually worked because the PIs worked with the cops, and most time, unfortunately, they don't want to work with us. This worked very well. I was very happy and proud of Olivia working with them. It really helps when you can contact them and say, "Hey, I'm prior police." They know some of the lingo and things, and they trust you in a way. But I loved being brought on board because I didn't do any of the work. I just came in on the fun end, and we all know how that goes. You work for a year, do 50 search warrants, and then everybody else gets to have fun while you're doing all the paperwork. So I got to have fun while Olivia did all the paperwork.
For once. Yeah.
You have it.
You got to have the fun.
Next time you're coming out at 3:30 in the morning, though, okay?
Wow.
Start finding these people.
Ops manager. So, obviously you guys do a lot of surveillance. Let's hit on surveillance real quick. I mean, so that entails a lot more than people think, right? Like, it's not, because you got to go with them everywhere they go, not just in their car. And then how do you get on them? How do you, I mean, all those sorts of things. And without giving away too many trade secrets, obviously we're not here to do that. But I mean, like, give me an example of, like, yeah. So you're parlaying to Olivia again. An example of like, you know, how many different places in one day you would go on foot, in a car, all the things you have to do to keep up with these people and gather intel. And sometimes it's all day, I would guess, right?
Well, we live in Nash Vegas, and a lot of the cases we get are people that are flying in on business trips, and it's the wife or the husband that are calling that, hey, they're flying in on Friday, pick them up at the airport, and follow them all over for the weekend. And I don't know if you guys have been on Broadway on a weekend lately. Like, we just worked a case last weekend. I think we were out till 1 or 2 in the morning on Saturday, going to all these, you know, following this group of people to bars and bars and bars. It's difficult to follow people downtown Nashville, to identify them from an airport. Millions of people coming in and out constantly, picking them up, following them in Nashville traffic, getting them to a hotel, sitting in a hotel, waiting for them to come downstairs, getting on foot, following them. If they jump in an Uber, you've got to have somebody ready in a car. There's so many parts you don't know what's going to happen. You always have to be ready. You've got to be ready to walk. You've got to be ready to run. You've got to be ready to drive. And all in all, there's just so many aspects and there's so many unknowns. So you've always got to be adaptable and really think at least 1 to 2 steps ahead of what these people are doing. And a lot of that's going to be based on your knowledge of, especially going back to Vice and doing undercover narcotics and following these people. You guys know, you just get all this experience and you kind of start understanding human behavior and what people are going to do. So that really carries over into this realm of private investigation, especially on those types of cases. But trying to stay a couple steps ahead of them at all times. If they're at a bar drinking, you're sitting over there sipping on some sparkling water, and then you see them, leaving, you got to bust out, still getting video footage and pictures, and then try to, beat them outside to know which way they're going, to follow them into the next place. So we do so many different types of things on surveillance. So it's different dynamics, different modes of transportation, we could say, I guess.
I got a question.
Yeah.
You said you're at the bar drinking the sparkling water, and you're watching them. What if you got to go to the bathroom?
Oh, no, that's not allowed.
Better hold it.
Guess that's where Depends comes in.
Yes, yes. Well, and this is the problem, like being a
Whoa,
female.
that's dedicated, bro.
Being a female versus you guys, because when you're sitting in a car for 8 or 9 hours at a time,
That's what I'm saying.
It's a little rough.
You don't just roll up and get the picture you want at a house. You're going to sit there for hours.
You sit there for hours.
So is your back seat like full of gas station food wrappers?
Oh,
and
there's
bottles?
I do a whole Instagram segment on surveillance snacks. It's very important.
See, most people don't think of this stuff.
Oh, you've got to have tactical protein. Yeah, there's so many things.
Gas in your car.
Oh, always go with
Number
the full
one
tank.
rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm out.
It's glorified on TV, right? In all the movies, like it looks so glorious to be on a stakeout and
you're thinking like there's going to be these high speed pursuits, and some people we do think on the interstate with some of these people we follow.
I was going to say, if you follow me on the interstate, it's a high.
It's like 120,
pursuit.
like good God.
I'll tell a story though.
No, we do the speed limit.
That's right.
That's right.
Bobby, with a client of ours, another mutual, I told a story on the last one. I'll tell another one on him.
yeah.
He had a situation. He was following. In this case, he couldn't protect the asset everywhere he was going, so he put team on the asset. On the asset, and then we decided it was be safer to also watch the suspect. And it happened last minute, and Bobby's like, "I'm out of people," and I was like, "Oh, okay." He said, "Can you go watch him?" And I was like, "I've never done this before." Sure. So I get there. It's in a cul-de-sac. You can't hide in a cul-de-sac. And then while I'm on the phone with Bobby, talking to him, he's with the asset, there's a black cloud coming in. And it starts hailing. And then they're giving out tornado warnings. And I'm sitting out there going, what in the hell have I gotten into? This is, oh my gosh. But that was my first and last. I decided this was.
You mean you didn't have any like neighbors come up and like knocking on your window?
No, they were getting hit by hail.
Oh, wow.
And so
They
were
were coming
my
out the
car
hills.
windows.
Sometimes that doesn't even matter. Those neighbors come out and
He
God.
came out and stood out front.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was checking the weather with his pit bull. So
and his trampoline.
He didn't. I don't know if he had a trampoline, but he had a big boat too. I do know that. And I'm sitting there going, "Nah, this isn't my world."
Well, it's glorious. Yeah, surveillance is glorious. Everybody thinks narcotics work is glorious too, right? Like digging through people's trash. And
Yeah.
I used to joke that I should have a proctology degree, for how many guys had to be searched.
Had to be searched. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
But investigative side of the house, you guys are both born to be investigators. I mean, that's obvious and clear, and you're both really good at it. So I'm sure the variety of cases is probably one of the things you guys like the most, right? Because it's not the same thing all the time. And it's, when you get stuff like George Jones's widow, that you go from literally just serving a lawsuit on some schmuck to actually getting him arrested and slapping him in the face with, stuffing papers down his shirt, whatever happens.
She did not slap him.
No.
I'm sure it's on camera, so yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So that's probably the only thing that kept him from getting slapped.
Pretty much.
Sounds like he needed it anyway, if we're being honest. But I know the cases vary greatly, right? So obviously the spousal stuff is one. Criminal side of the house, you guys do both, right? I mean, you do some work for, the state stuff you were talking about, I don't know what it's called, and then, but you also get, some private attorneys that hire you guys as well for criminal also?
Correct.
Yeah, but just to give everybody one last visual of this case at the airport, this dude had like 8 pieces of large luggage. Him and 2 others were literally thinking in their brains, we're getting on a plane, we're going to the Philippines with $50 million or $10 million in crypto, and then he got nabbed. Like big luggage. So I don't know what they did with all those clothes, but anyway, Gucci Mane.
Well, and ultimately, here's the kicker. He met a girl, she had no idea about any of this, and he was taking her to the Philippines. She was from there. She sold everything off for this man. She had a job at a nail salon, sold everything, her house, her car. She had an autistic son, and they were at the airport and going through security. He got snatched away. They went on to LA. That's where the connecting flight was to the Philippines. But he was going there to marry her and to basically get citizenship because he thinks that they would never extradite him back here for any criminal charges. So we got him right before he was actually going to get away. Yeah. Like on the second.
And there's, there's, I guess, 3 victims of that whole thing, right? Obviously George Jones' widow, but now this new lady and her autistic son who have no idea what just happened, right?
Yeah.
He literally sold all their stuff for this schmuck and
And I'll tell you, I talked to Nancy Jones afterwards, and oh my gosh, what a humble lady. She, is with everything that happened to her, all she did was have so much empathy and sympathy for this girl that she had been basically victimized also and gave up everything in her life for this man who just blatantly lied to her. So that was, she's such a wonderful lady.
That's nice. That's neat to hear because you don't get to hear the human side of a lot of that sometimes. So that's really cool to hear.
Well, that's one big difference in being police. We were working cases and then we don't actually get to see the real impact of what we did. Like we seized 100 kilos. We don't know what impact. People are mad at us for taking coke off the streets, but how many people are actually proud and happy and how many lives do you may save? So
impact, you don't know, but these cases, and it is, and it's really, Bobby, with the whole concept of the whole company, this peace of mind, mantra, and it really is, because when people call, and I talk to so many clients, every day about their cases, and they're just like, I just need some peace of mind. I just need peace of mind, whether it is a cheating case or whether it is, a criminal investigation. Like when somebody tells you, I didn't do this, and we're able to prove that, and that person no longer has to sit in jail for 2 years for something they never did in the first place. It's just, that is just, I can't even explain how good that feels.
Rewarding, I guess, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you're right, on the law enforcement side of the house, we never really had a true measure of impact, right?
We were never told thank you, ever. No,
very rarely. But of course, I always talk about in our training how nobody ever calls the police because they're having a good day either. So that's just not something we're going to be exposed to, is like the good story side of the house that you guys are getting now. I guess, do the cases vary, like on the criminal side of the house? Like is there anything you won't work?
We obviously have an attachment to law enforcement in general, first responders. So, if there's an assault or some sort of weapon used against law enforcement, first responders, we're not going to take a look at that. Ideally, obviously, the owners are both prior law enforcement, so you probably get some bias in there as well. You probably wouldn't want those people looking at the case. So, beyond that, we are really busy right now, and we are taking on a lot of cases. So there's probably not a whole lot of things or types of cases that we haven't touched or worked, because we have a very diverse group of people. We have a digital forensics division. So I've been entered in as a digital forensics expert. We also have another person, Greg, who is also a digital forensics expert. He's not technically under Covert, but the good thing about being in this industry and having a good reputation and being linked in with people like you guys is that we meet a lot of really great people. So if we don't know how to do something or can't do something, we will find somebody that not only knows how to do it, but they're experts at it. So with that, I mean, the cases do vary from, we worked a case last year. We solved a murder case. I literally just got a text from the homicide detective. He said, hey, the assistant DA needs that one of those videos that I did the whole video, which isn't ideal, but it's better than nothing.
Sure.
But I actually testified in preliminary hearing, and actually the guy that was murdered, he was ran over because he confronted two illegals stealing his tools.
We'll back up. I want people to know about this. It's Smokin Thighs, right? It's that murder. Tom and I used to eat at Smokin Thighs, and the owner was a friend of yours and an EO with you, right? Mm-hmm. So there's more to
Carney.
There's more to this. I mean, it's kind of an aside, but do the 30,000 foot view on this one, because this people need to hear this.
Yeah. So obviously we run a PI company. I'm part of the entrepreneurs organization, which it's been awesome since 2021. And Matt Carney was the owner of Smokin Thighs, and he was involved in a critical incident where he ended up losing his life. The EO network reached out, and there was one individual. He said, can you do something? I mean, I'm just telling the truth here, but he said, Metro said they will not work this case because nothing was on video camera. So essentially they felt like, one, they're not going to have peace of mind because this guy was put on life support almost immediately, and then eventually 2 weeks later passed away. But they were all told by the local police, hey, they're not going to do anything about it. So they called me and said, hey, is there something you can do? And I said, hell yeah.
Well, so people aren't going to know exactly. I mean, I know you'll get to it, but basically the owner of Smokin Thighs was hit by a vehicle right outside the restaurant. And then at the time they didn't think they had much to go on him, right? Except, what little evidence that was there, which was next to nothing. So fast forward, people that care about him, his family, other EO members, all that are looking to you like, is there anything else you can do? You're an investigator. What else can be done? And then you took it from there.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
EO. What is EO?
EO, Entrepreneurs Organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's a global wide organization. It's not really a networking organization, but business owners. So anyway, they asked for my help and went out there to the scene. I'd say within 2 weeks, we were able to turn the whole case upside down, where we identified the vehicle, we identified the person driving the vehicle, and then the person that was inside the vehicle. This all also led to not one, not two, but 3 different police chases. One of them I was kind of in, but for insurance purposes, I won't talk about it. But 3 different police chases, and on the third one, they finally got the guy, and they actually just indicted him very recently. But, the 30,000 foot view is, I called to help on a case. It ended up being, unfortunately, turned into a murder case. Myself and my team, and also help of Metro Police, we solved the entire case. And then I was actually called by the prosecution, by the DA's office. They called me and said, you're going to have to testify on this, right? And I said, I intend to.
Yeah, I did the investigation. That's something you won't say. I'll say it for you because you're not going to brag on yourself. You did the investigation and you solved the case. Yes, other people helped at the end of the day, but if you had not sunk your teeth into that thing to begin with, we'd still be not having a clue who killed him. Well, and I'll say too, because there's so many minute details with politics and how the inner workings of the police department, but because of the reputation that I left at Metro, usually people after 9, 10, 11 years, they're a lot of times leaving not on so great terms. I was able to leave and retire on my own terms.
But I literally begged friends of mine to take the case from, it was assigned to the traffic unit, and I said, will you assign it to the homicide unit? And luckily, after a lot of begging and things, that's what they did. So I had the help of traffic, homicide, and SID, which, again, when the police work with us, and I mean, good things can happen.
SID stands for Specialized Investigations Divisions. I knew you were wondering what SID was.
I knew that one.
All this talking acronyms. Oh, you did. Most of the audience is not going to know that.
Yeah.
I think it's some sort of STD or something, but you never know. So, but that's a good example of a case you weren't hired for, Bobby. Like people just wanted help. And how many hours you got in that thing, I don't know, and you'll probably never tell. But it didn't make you any money. Probably cost you money if we're being honest, but you did it because it's the right thing to do. And you and your investigators have a certain skill set that you knew could be put to good use. So I think that the variety of cases you guys have probably range. I mean, obviously that's homicide, but I imagine you have vehicular traffic stuff. You have all across the board. Like
stolen pets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Still,
Who's our pet detective?
That was Michelle.
Diana.
Okay. Stolen pets.
I bet Steven would love to know we're deeming him as pet detective.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yes, we do that as well. I mean, look, everybody has kids. A lot of people have kids, and people are going to fight till the end of the earth and give their lives for their own kids. So as you can imagine, when it comes to a child custody battle, we would get involved too. And I mean, one of the cases that sticks out for me the most in a custody case is both the mom and dad were living at an apartment complex, and they knew there was some drug use going on. Well, the grandparents were our client, and they hired us to do surveillance on them. So I put up a camera in their apartment complex, a little remote motion activated camera. And what it caught was both parents coming out at 2:00 in the morning and serving cars. Well, that means
handing drugs to
They
people.
weren't serving papers. Well,
That's right.
Rolling
Yes, it was.
papers
Yes, it was
involved,
not.
but-
It was not serving papers.
They were dealing drugs for
Dealing
most of the audience who
drugs.
understand what serving means.
Exactly. And what's helpful with the awesome group that we have is there are several investigators, including myself, also been deemed as narcotics experts. So how can we get up in court and explain of what we're seeing? Well, we know based on experience, and we're experts, so we can testify to what we're seeing. So not only that, we did a trash pull. We found hair dye that basically says that you can get rid of drug tests, like you can fool a drug test, whatever. And there was also past records. So like the police and fire going to their apartment, proving there's a pattern of time where they essentially continued to overdose over and over again. So those three main points, we were able to successfully get this child. I think the child was between 2 and 3 years old. We were able to get the grandparents total custody of this child.
Yeah, it's got to be rewarding.
Well, it's really important too because we work a lot of cases now, just fentanyl-based murders on babies. Now we're seeing a large increase in those cases.
So yeah, rewarding at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Plus, the investigative side of the house is rewarding for the way that you two are wired anyway. But I imagine most of your investigators, I mean, if they're doing this, they love what they're doing. I mean,
well, but to go that route is so much better than having to pull the state in and pulling a kid out of their home and then putting in foster. While it's just, this is something that especially on the private side, it can be done, it can be expedited, and puts that kid in a safe environment that's not out of the norm and doesn't disrupt their life for forever.
So you're not interfering with what they're doing. You're expediting it.
Yes.
You're they have so many things
for the
that have to
greater
be
good.
filed and done to where you can do it, provide the evidence, and then work with
And
them
they don't
to
get
go
stuck in DCS purgatory.
Well, there's a lot of surveillance cases where we're brought in because there's some sort of court order in place. Like this person can't be with this person, or this person cannot consume alcohol, or this person
While they have the child.
isn't supposed to use drugs. And so we're called in to almost kind of verify or make sure, is this person obeying these court rules or are they messing up?
Wow. Okay. So a lot of everything. I mean, not a little bit of everything.
I sent him one last week, and I don't know that it's been picked up yet by the client, but a sex shop. Pretty sure there's some sex trafficking going on.
Okay.
And there again, we debate, well, what do? You call the police? Do you the owner of the house didn't know what to do. Because if you call them, are they just going to show up and it go away? Or are they already working it?
Yeah.
We didn't know. And so that's where they can come in and get evidence to support that and also find out if they are following it already.
Yeah.
So there's always, I have interesting conversations when I have to call Bobby.
I bet.
It's always fun.
Well, mine vary. Sometimes they're interesting because it's stuff like that, and then sometimes it's just one of the two of us griping to the other one just to vent. So that happens sometimes too. But that's
being a
neat.
business owner.
Yes, sir. That's neat. But well, obviously, people want to get in touch with you guys from an investigative side of the house. Same, right?
Hey, you forgot the story.
Oh, the top three.
Yeah,
That's right.
Top three. What's your top one that you been involved in?
Well, I've got some that are still just ongoing that are pretty
Well, you
fun.
think I'll tell one real quick, and actually it's easy because it was our very first case, and I'll never forget it. It came from my lieutenant, McCall, and he's awesome, just recently retired. But anyway, it was a missing person, which if you know much about missing persons, how they're filed with Metro Police, they kind of don't do a whole lot for the first 72 hours or longer. This was an adult, so me and Janine went out, beat the streets, knocked on doors. Did you see anybody? So we ended up determining that it was likely a past ex-boyfriend that literally kidnapped her. We went and talked to that guy's mother up in Gallatin. Then we found ourselves down the road in Gallatin talking to some family members who ran us off. They were not very nice, but that's what you run into. And then I was talking to one of the homicide detectives a couple days later, while at the same time I'm talking to the guy's coworker. We get word that the guy, the suspect in the kidnapping, just got in a shootout with Clarksville police, and they shot and killed him because he shot at police. Well, that's what happens.
Self-correcting error.
Exactly. So at that time, the only person that we knew that kidnapped this lady is now dead. And it took another, I think, 24, 48 hours to figure out, based on some phone pings and stuff, that the police were able to do. But we were still doing interviews on our side. We figured out that there was a barn fire in Gallatin, and the Firecom up there, they responded and put it out. But because it's a barn, I guess there's some rule that they didn't actually go in and search it. They just thought it was like a tobacco bar, and they just put it out. So they went back and checked that and then found her body. So it ended up being a missing person turned murder. And I was like, holy shit, this is our first case. This is how PI life is. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then it got boring after that. You're like, oh, crap. Out of the gate. This is awesome.
Yeah.
No, some of them got to be fun, and some of them got to be just boring. And
Well, I mean, the case I
most of them are
just
pretty
did out of Knoxville 150 phone numbers, voice over IP, utilized to harass and stalk a guy for 3 years. And then in court presented, and the lady admits, yeah, I was behind all those numbers, all those emails.
And he went to jail.
And he went to jail.
He went to
Exactly.
jail.
So right now we're currently working on trying to hand that to the police, which there's been some
Pushback.
declining, I guess, of prosecution. I'm not sure why, because the detective said, wow, this is some damning evidence. So
Yeah,
have
that was a good case.
to figure that out.
You did a great job on that one. And the PowerPoint. How many slides was it?
It was like 240. And I was like, ooh, I got to take some off.
So that's from a guy that does PowerPoints a lot, Bobby. That's a lot of slides, buddy.
Pretty massive.
Well, and I think that's what hurt, honestly, because the police, I mean, the guy told me, he said, this is too much. Can you put it into like 2 pages? So I, with the help of AI, put in 2 pages, and it's still too much. But I'm working on that. So,
are there any that you can tell? Because you said that some are current.
Most of mine are current that are kind of fun right now. I mean, I like the surveillance stuff. I like the faster moving. You know, the Nancy Jones case was great because we did that in 3 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was 3 days. That wasn't a long term. It was quick, and it just happened fast, and that's kind of my speed. So
Yeah.
the longer, drawn-out ones aren't particularly my favorite, but we've got great people that love those kinds of cases and do an amazing job on them. So
I want a whole nother episode on the cheaters.
Yeah.
I like that. There used to be a TV show, Cheaters.
Well, that's right. There was. Yeah.
There's about 5 or 6 really good cases we could talk about.
Yeah.
It would be fun. It would be
I like
fun.
that.
I actually have to go do surveillance right now.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all later.
I got to go too.
Well, yeah. On that note, it's probably time to wrap this episode. I was trying to wrap it a few minutes ago when Tom's like, "Wait a minute, we hadn't asked them their
Still
stories."
wanted to know the good stuff.
We got a
Do you know-
bunch.
do you know why I was rapping? Because I was watching the time for you. Because I know what time you said you had to leave. So, if people want to get in touch with you, same way, right? CovertResults.com is probably, or contact at CovertResults.com, either one. If you go to the website, though, you'll be able to find them. If you Google Private Investigator Nashville, you'll be on the page 1. You may not be number 1, but you'll be on page 1.
Oh, he's number 1, but
Who's number 1 in our
He's
book?
number 1. He's
because
number 1.
Google's dumb.
Well, there goes any kind of algorithm that was going to like us before. The minute you said those words.
I don't need no stinking algorithm.
Yeah. Well, either way, also, by all means, you can get in touch with Tom or either one, and we can get you in touch with these folks if you have the need for an investigator. But as you can tell from listening to them, the cases vary drastically, and they can pretty much help you with whatever, and can usually do it faster and more efficiently than, counting on the government side of the house. And that's not knocking the government and law enforcement. It's just the way things work.
Just the way it works.
Yeah. They're shorthanded.
The truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is what it is. So, by all means, if you need to get in touch with them, then do. Obviously, I recommend them highly. We haven't worked with both of them before. So if you guys have ideas for shows or guests or anything like that, by all means, send us an email at info@tipstacticstools.com. You can also find us on all the social media. Please leave us a review if you're so inclined and you like this kind of stuff. That helps us just get the word out to more people. That's going to do it for this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. Please join us on the next episode.
I'm out.